Hey, welcome to Dad Bods and Touchdowns. This is the post Bears game podcast. Doing it a few hours after the Bears game. Gave some time to relax a little bit. It's myself and Eric. Uh, I know I want to wish you happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a safe and great Thanksgiving with their friends or loved ones. I know I had a good morning brunch with some of my kids. Had parents went to my parents for dinner. It was nice. In between, I punished the shit out of myself watching the Bears Lions game. Eric, how's your Thanksgiving been?
It was really, really good. Got to spend time with some family and got to eat lots of turkey. First time hosting at the house, so that was an experience, but it worked out really good. Same thing. It was a little hard to watch the game and make sure everything was getting done at the right time, but we managed. Part of me is a little happy that I didn't have to watch the full thing at once because my God, the first half I just wanted to run through a wall. Honestly, just everything about that game was just too much for me. But on the other hand, I mean, the second half was nice. But again, we're used to what we saw. My father-in-law was like, "I'm gonna root for the Lions so that way they lose," because I always, and I was like, "Okay, that's cool, whatever." But I'm like, I told them, I'm like, they're gonna get close, but they're gonna find a way to lose. And what happened? They did that exactly.
Right, right. Um, I'm uh, I'm gonna avoid snapping and going off. I will be honest. When the last 32 seconds of that game, and I was watching it. We were waiting so that way I could figure out if I was leaving to my parents right away or what was going on. And I was watching the clock tick and tick and tick and tick. And I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on here? I was in disbelief. I was like, but taking a deep breath. Um, where do we go from here? Um, Before we get into that, where do we go from here? I will say this. I agree. First half was hard to watch. 15 yards in the first quarter of total offense. I mean, you're looking at 256 yards, though, at the end of the game for Caleb Williams as far as passing, three touchdowns. Once again, no interceptions. I will say, what do you have? 66.2 QBR, 97.8. Nothing out of this world, but definitely acceptable for a starting quarterback in the NFL. Even if he was a veteran, that would be acceptable. Um, Once again, he led the Bears in rushing with 39 yards. DJ Moore had a productive day. Keenan Allen had a productive day. Um, Overall, that second half, we beat Detroit hands down in that second half. Um, then I think DJ Moore put it perfectly in his when they were asking him questions at the end of the game. He said, "We shit the bed."
Yeah.
Um, I think that's well put, but in the same return, Um, Keenan Allen had something interesting to say that I thought it was great, and I'm glad that there's a veteran not afraid to speak up. He said the players did their job and what it took to win that game. That speaks volumes to me because I'm going to go back now to the question: where do we go from here? What happens tomorrow morning? I I know the Bears don't fire head coaches during midseason. But it's time, right? It's time, right?
100%. I mean, if we don't wake up tomorrow and we see Foose has been fired or some type of action, I mean, this is the fourth time he has blown a comeback. We have a quarterback that can lead us to a comeback. but yet we still have someone that can't lead him to be put in the right situation as a team to win. Because as soon as he got sacked, you call a timeout. Okay, I know neither of us are head coaches or ever will be in the NFL, but I mean that's just basic football, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just basic football, and this man refused to own up to his mistakes once again, and he's like, "I'm just gonna keep grinding," you know. And it's like, no,
Well,
that's not the right response.
he even said that he goes, "We managed the clock right." His words. That's what he said at the end of the
This
game.
dude just doesn't like. I don't understand what if his new hair or his whatever is getting in the way of
I think the
common
dye
sense.
attacked his head.
I mean,
The hair dye.
I don't know what it is. You know, I mean, there was positives like to the game as far as the defense held them to a lot of field goals, which I really liked,
Yes.
and then that strip was really good at key and the goal
Yeah.
line, but I mean, we can't win with lackluster coaching and someone at the helm, not the helm, at the head of the and just telling us to do stupid things because he doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no more excuses. You can't go off of that and be like, he can still lead this team when your team is basically calling you out because you can't.
Right. Right. I mean, think about it. They held Montgomery and Gibbs both under 100 yards. They kept them both out of the end zone. As far as defensively, I thought defensively the whole game, I thought they played really well. That's a very, very tough team. Detroit's offense, as we've talked about with Ben Johnson, doing a great job as offensive coordinator. We've talked, well, I know myself and Justin have expressed interest that we really would like to see him as the Bears head coach. Overall, I will say Matt Eberflus's defense was better than that Detroit offense today.
I think it was just because of they wanted to play because of the environment and the game
Right,
itself. I don't
right.
know if it was him doing it, but I
Yeah,
mean, if he had any chance of trying to save his job or any type of argument towards his way, he
that'd
lost
be
it.
the only thing.
Yeah, he
That
lost it.
yeah.
You know, I mean, how many more times are you going to give this kid that kind of
Right.
opportunity, and
Well,
he's gonna just. I mean, you can only lose that way so much before it gets ingrained in you. It's basically what I'm trying to say.
right, right. And to go back to what you and I have talked about before on previous cast podcasts, Caleb Williams, obviously with Shane Waldron, major, major, major confidence issues, major problems with running the offense that he was being dealt.
Yeah,
Um, last three games, not so much. He's done really well. So his confidence is building. His confidence is doing. You can see it on the field.
yeah,
Yes, he had a rough first half. I think that his line didn't help him out much in the first, but I also think that he overthrew some receivers. I think he underthrew some receivers. I don't think he was all that great in the first half, being fair and honest. Second half, though, once again, does his job better than anything. Um, and then the mismanagement. It was. I told my wife, I'm like, you fucking do that in junior tackle, you know. It's your job as the head coach to look at the ref and say, you're to walk beside him and say, listen, after this play, when the whistle sounds, I'm calling timeout. All right. So 32 seconds left at that sack.
yeah.
32 seconds, Eric. They snapped that ball with 6 seconds on the clock. Now, as a head coach, that tells me you essentially had what 26 seconds to make a determination that it's taken you too long. Romo put it perfect. Romo said, "You get under 10 seconds, you're done. You that's it, you know?" So Romo knows that. We, like you said, they'll never be head coaches. I mean, we know this. I mean, why doesn't he? What isn't there somebody? I mean, both got headsets on, right? We can hear each
I
other, right? Communicate.
I don't
What?
know. I
There's
don't
got to
know.
be somebody up there saying, "Hey, call a timeout, dude. Call a timeout." Yeah, Caleb Williams said, "Yeah, I changed the play call at the line." It's not Caleb Williams' job
He's a
to
rookie.
manage that clock. Even
He's a
as a vet,
rookie.
it's his job to get up there and worry about how he's going to run that offense. It's that head coach's job to worry about how he's going to handle that clock.
Exactly. I mean, it's simple things that
Yeah,
people that he just can't seem to comprehend or do. I don't know
right.
what is blocking him from doing that. It's so frustrating to see him do
It,
that.
it is. It is. And I said I wasn't going to
And
vent too much, but
no, it's just. I mean, we had every opportunity. I'm sorry, every
yeah,
opportunity to either win that game. Besides
yeah,
that, I'm a little upset with Cole Komet. He had a terrible game, person. I think he had a
yeah.
terrible
No,
game. I
I
don't know if you
don't
agree.
disagree.
Um,
I don't disagree.
but we had plenty of chances to win that game at that. Not alone keeping the ball away from them, but also just to kick a field goal to go over overtime. I don't know if he was too like it always feels like he's too scared to win, and
Right,
you know what I mean.
right.
I
No, I agree. I agree. Overall, though, I mean, when you hold Jared Goff to 221 yards, he did have two touchdown passes. Um, I'm on St. Brown. Had a decent game. I
He
was a
always
little,
does.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised to be honest with you that we didn't see more of what we seen on Sunday, where you had Jalen Johnson on the best receiver. I don't know if it's because of what happened with Minnesota. Said, okay, you can cover Jefferson, but what are you going to do about Addison?
yeah,
And prove we couldn't cover two good wide receivers at one
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So maybe that's why they didn't rely so much on that. But overall, though, I mean, he hit 73 yards, which is good for a wide receiver, but somebody of that caliber usually has a lot
He
more.
usually hit St. Brown. Uh, was it certain running backs, the Green Bay running backs? Like we just know that they're gonna have like Aaron Jones is gonna have a good game against us. It's just what he does. I mean, same thing with St. Brown.
Right.
Um, but no, it was. I saw Stevenson play a little better. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I mean, that's another thing. I don't want him to lose his confidence, man, because he's had a few where he just doesn't look the same
Yeah.
since the Hail Mary. And I get it, but they need to mentor that and get him better. And
That makes me question: is that confidence issue coming from our head coach?
I think so, honestly.
You
I,
know,
I
I
mean, that's coaching. I mean, that's
yeah,
you break them down a little bit because you got to bring back to reality. Like, hey, you're not that hot of whatever, but
yeah,
you need to you could be good if you just put in the effort.
yeah,
Kind of how it happened with Johnson when he got put as a second stringer, and then he became last year and
right.
he got this extension.
Right. One of the another highlight that I thought for our defense was Javon Dexter had a fumble recovery. The reason why I bring this up is because, as you know through text, um, our fellow podcaster Justin seems to think that we should have drafted Jalen,
I don't agree.
but I think Javon Dexter's numbers have obviously proven better. Once again, seven total tackles, three solos, fumble recovery. Actually, was the third highest tackle, which tells me that he stuffed that middle like he should have, and they weren't getting much past him. They did have some decent runs. Don't get me wrong. In that first half, I think second half they shut that down. Um, so with saying this stuff, uh, who do you who do you think? Not this Sunday, obviously, but the following. Who's going to be our interim head coach? Hopefully, where do we go, Eric?
If I was in charge, I'd be putting TB over there, but most likely I would either say our special teams coach or Washington's going to go as our interim coach, probably most likely. But I think Thomas Brown should get a swing at things, get a feel for it, and kind of have like Like, let's test run, and if you see positives to it, then you give him an opportunity to interview for the position. But if they don't think he's that kind of coach, then you just give it to somebody until we can find a better suitable person to take over for that.
Right, right. I don't like I said. I the only problem I have with Thomas Brown, I think I'd rather see like the special teams coach. Can't think of his name to be honest with you off the
No,
top of my
I
head.
know, yeah, I know you're talking about.
Um, I'd like to see that only because I really like what Brown's doing with our offense. I like what he's doing with Caleb Williams. I like the confidence that Caleb Williams is showing. Um, if I had one thing that I could knock on our offense right now, besides penalties that are killing us, would be getting the play call in, getting to the line, and having the time to make your audible calls without that hitting zero. And it was close all second half today. I mean, there was two times they had to call timeout, but it was almost every play. I'm like, either the plays. I listen. I know we went in a couple of years ago to Ford Field and watched the Bears play Detroit, and I will tell you, it is loud. I mean, when I say loud, loud, it's deafening loud. So I get it. Maybe it's a struggle of getting that play in, uh, being able to hear it, but it just other teams don't have that problem. So I question why we do, you know?
Well, I mean,
So,
it's probably just the coaching and then them getting them acclimated because they want to get see the right fits. But I mean, usually the best quarterbacks do usually go. I it seems to be like the last 3 seconds or so, just to make sure they have the right um, formations and everything,
right.
places and calls. But I don't know. I'm hoping he gets better. I think it's all growth as a rookie
Yeah.
quarterback and getting that confidence. But I mean, I really like what I'm seeing, man. I just saw a statistic that he has a record for the most completions for a rookie
Without
quarterback
interception.
without an interception.
I think
I
it's at 221 now, right? Or something like that.
I think it's a little higher now because of
Is
this
it?
game,
Okay.
but I don't remember the exact
Yeah.
statistic. But I mean,
His decision making. I mean, he's gotten lucky with the pass here or there, but all
I was gonna
quarterbacks do.
say that like
Yeah.
he has to. That's what makes those kinds of quarterbacks special. They
Yeah.
do things that we don't see, and he does those things.
No,
I
absolutely.
mean,
I agree. I
I
agree.
just people cannot for the last 3 games that Thomas Brown took over. They cannot argue that Waldron
No.
was not the issue,
Oh,
and people
I'm with you.
still right now. That's the biggest thing that makes me mad is people still want to blame Caleb. Like,
No.
where can you? I don't know what they're seeing or what I'm not seeing, but
Romo said a couple of times, he's like, "Wow, you know, it that movement, that thought process, that ability to get that ball out." I'm trying to remember who he threw it to, but when he was about to take off, he was almost to the line of scrimmage. Noticed he had a guy open and threw the ball down there
always look
rather than run
downfield.
it. Yeah,
Exactly, always
always,
looking downfield.
always.
It's
The
it's
only
it's
the only thing I'd like to see him do, and this is just being picky,
yeah,
is he had that play where he started to roll out of the pocket and he threw it to Moore, and about 10 yards, a little bit further down, he had Keenan Allen sitting there,
yeah,
wide open. Would
yeah,
have been a touchdown. That's being picky, because he was under pressure, and he made a good decision to get the ball out.
yeah.
DJ Moore had a couple drops again today. Unlike him, um, one that probably would have been a touchdown.
I think it's I don't know if it's like I said it's the coaching. I think it's the coaching. Sometimes that DJ Moore is he has that diva in him a little bit now that more that I see than last year. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
because he got paid but all star receivers have that trait. They want the ball but I'm hoping they can clean that up because I mean that's just something you don't need.
yeah.
Um,
Would you say that people can stop the stupid argument that DJ Moore and Caleb Williams doesn't have chemistry now?
Yeah, it was like we've said plenty of times. I argued this, and then people said, "Oh no, you need to trade him. It was a mistake, re-signing him or extending him." And I was like, "Okay, that's not the issue. The issue is they're running basic routes and they're not getting him the ball in space. And what does TB do? He gets the ball in space and he runs for 30 yards. Like it's just
Yeah,
it's frustrating."
yeah. At one point in time in that second half, the Detroit Lions, or first half, sorry, the Detroit Lions, and they pointed it out during the broadcast, had more first downs, almost double than what we had total yards.
So,
Um,
I know, I
that
know,
that was pretty rough.
it was.
So I think that one thing we can take away from this is Caleb is able to overcome a very rough start,
He's
not just for one quarter, but two quarters.
I've said this, just from watching his games and stuff, and he's always like in college too. He's always been a second quarter quarterback. I don't know why or what but he always just turns on the second half and the fourth quarter. He's always I like they say, was it? He just got ice in his veins in the fourth quarter because he just doesn't care. I wish
Yeah,
they could find a
which
way
is
to.
nice,
Yeah, it is nice, but I
but
wish they could find a way to open that so it's all four quarters.
yeah, we
You know
need
what I
all
mean?
four. Yeah,
And but we've never had a quarterback that's been that way. We've always had the issue is the quarterback can't get us down there. We get a stop and we need the quarterback to get us down there, and he can't. You know what I mean? So, um,
I mean, yeah, I mean he's so far from what I've seen as far as rookie quarterbacks or quarterbacks that we have had, with the exception, I will say, of one that is in my lifetime that I could think of with comebacks consistently, even though his attitude didn't show it all the time, was Jay Cutler. I think he's got a ways to go to prove that he's better than Jay. Um, that's just my opinion. He's a rookie, so he's got plenty of time to show that, and I think he will. But yeah, I agree with you. The Bears have struggled to ever have something like that, and when we did, the one we had was just like, it is what it is. Give me a cigarette and go
Jay
smoke on the
Cutler
sideline.
was one of those. If he got pissed, you would want to see that pissed off Jay Cutler. But if not, then you're just like, we'll see what he does. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. Jay
Yeah,
Cutler was frustrating to watch. There were some times where I was like, "Damn, Jay Cutler's ready to play." He just ran somebody over for a touchdown, and he just threw a 50-yard no look pass. No, not no look, but like to Marshall. You know what I mean? But and then sometimes he'd get sacked and just go to the sideline and be like, "Whatever, I'm getting paid, right?"
right. No, I totally agree with you. He, but anyway, back to today's game. Get sidetracked on
Yeah,
all of our quarterback struggles
I know.
of the past.
People
Uh,
know, right?
Time of possession was definitely weighed towards Detroit, which meant more time on our defense to perform, which they came through and did so. Total yards, Detroit had 405. We had 301 yards. Still not a bad output for offense. I know we need a little bit more. That's today's NFL. Even though I think we're getting back to running the running game like we've talked about. Um, Roshan Johnson went out in the first half with a concussion. That's concerning after everything we've been through with Brisker so far. I'm hoping his health is going to be okay. But that is our goal line guy. Swift is nice, but we know how Johnson smashes up the middle there.
Yeah.
Anything you think the Bears need to be concerned about that, or you think this nice
I
layoff right now
I
give
think
him
this
time to
long little
recover?
stretch he should be back. I don't remember him having a big history with concussions. I know he's had like hamstring and like ankle injuries, but not anything to do with concussions. Um, so I'm hoping it's not anything long term, and we can get him back for next week. But I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter if they don't fire. I still like people are like, what's gonna change if we don't? It just says it sets a precedent, like it sets a standard that we were not okay with mediocrity, and we need change. That is the reason why I want to fire him. I don't know if that's your reasoning or if you think it's okay to keep him, but there is more positives than negatives to fire him now. I think personally. I don't know how you feel.
No, I agree completely and totally. I don't disagree whatsoever on that. Um, we go to San Francisco next. San Francisco has some problems. They have a coach that is rumored to be on the hot seat himself. Why, I don't know. I would love to have him in Chicago. I would welcome him with open arms as long as he's got a good D coordinator with him. But what do you think the Bears' chances are of pulling out a victory when they go into San Francisco?
If we have a different head coach and they don't get all their players back, high. Um, I think very high. But if we keep the same head coach and we don't set a new standard for our team, I don't think we win. I mean,
Right,
we have a better team because of the injuries they have. We have a better team,
right.
but
I agree.
um,
Um,
I mean, they have what? They have Brock Purdy, the cornerback. Oh yeah, there's a lot of players that they have. That are hurt.
Yeah, they have out right now that are not doing well health wise. Actually, last time I heard, they were concerned about Brock Purdy because of how everything went down with his shoulder. So it went from being not on the injury list to being on the injury list to being no practice to being out of the game. So they're not, from my understanding, from what I've heard, is they're not sure what's wrong with him. So they're supposed to be doing more test results on him. I would just say this: we've got San Francisco at San Francisco, we've got Minnesota at Minnesota, we've got the Lions that come to us, we've got Seattle at home, and then we finish up in Green Bay. We've said this time and time again. It's going to be a tough road. I just think it's going to be really hard to pull off a victory before the end of the season.
I don't see. I mean, you know, I we could probably sneak one, maybe two games, but I mean, what's our record then? 6-12
6-11,
or 11? I mean, yeah,
and if we don't win one, we're going to be 4-13. One game better than Eberflus's first year with the Bears.
and our roster is crazy, like way better
Oh,
now.
oh God, yeah,
Yeah,
without doubt. So, all right. Well, we've voiced our wonderful opinions on how everything's gone. Eric, how would you like to finish this one off? What do you got for final words for us?
Final words: Eberflus needs to be fired tomorrow. If it's not in the morning, it's in the afternoon with the press conference. Ryan Post needs to come out and be like, "This, that's whatever. Thank you for what you did. He's a wonderful person outside, but we need change. We need better, and this is the time to do it." That's my opinion, and I hope everybody had a happy holidays. And thanks for listening.
Very well said. I would agree exactly with what you said. My final thoughts. You know, his words. He handled the clock the right way. Um, that's not the right way to handle the clock. We all know that. I know he hasn't had time to look at it. So to parallel off of what you said, we need to see Ryan Poles tomorrow morning come out and say that we appreciate Matt Eberflus and everything he tried to do for the Bears franchise, but it's time to move on. George Hallis has been seen out in the tailgate area, agreeing with the fans. You're right. When fans have said, "Hey, we need change. We need Eberflus gone." So I think George McCaskey knows it. Ryan Poles knows it. Matt Eberflus knows it now that he thinks that he knows how to handle the clock the right way. It's time for a change in Chicago, and it needs to happen, please, soon. That would make us all happy for Christmas. So, with saying that, we appreciate you guys listening to myself and Eric. We hope you find us entertaining at times and also informative at others. If you got any suggestions, comments that you'd like to throw our way, I always put our email into the description. Shoot us an email, leave us a comment in the comments section. Any suggestions, any topics you'd like to hear us talk about, we're here to try to do that. All right. With saying that, we're out, and that's it. And go Bears.